What's up, y'all? This is Ray with Build 206, Brothers United Leadership Development, Build 206 Media. We're in the building with my guy, my brother in Build, my homie from the South End, Clown in the building. What's up with you, bro?
What's good? What's good?
Same old, same old. Trying to stay COVID free in a world full of COVID.
That's it, man.
I'm happy we can get together. We've been trying to tap in, make a time for us to get in the studio and record this Stories from the South End podcast. We're about to be rolling this out here coming soon, interviewing all the homies from the South End, talking about lessons learned, that we learned growing up in the South End. So you know what it is.
For sure, for sure.
So let's jump on in. Why don't you tell folks a little bit about yourself, anything that you want to share this so people that don't know you. I know a lot of us that are from the South End definitely know who you are, but for other folks that are gonna be tapping in to share a little bit about yourself.
Um, Clown, like you said, from the South End, Holly Street. Um, I don't know, man. Really. um, yeah,
Brother of Build,
brother of build,
father,
father,
husband.
husband, for sure, husband. Granddad. Um, yeah, man, and just all around good guy.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So some of the questions we're gonna ask is just really kind of trying to figure out like what we wanted to be, those types of things, and kind of figure out what things that sidetracked us, just so you kind of know where we're gonna go with the conversation.
Okay.
So as a kid, if you remember, as a kid, do you remember what you wanted to be, like what you wanted to be when you grew up?
Like every other young black man growing up in the neighborhood, man, we all wanted to be, either an entertainer or, a ball player. I wanted to be a football player. You know, that was my everything. My love, my first love was football. So Rainier Beach Vikings, man, for real. That was what I wanted to be, what I thought I was gonna be.
And so did things get in the way of you being able to be what you wanted to be?
Streets, street politics, fast money. Um, at some point in time, man, it was really. I had a conversation with a gentleman, an older gentleman who I looked up to at that point in time, who basically just crushed my whole little football dream, and was just like, man, you too little, you ain't gonna make it. You know what I mean? So the streets, it was easy. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So it was I was good at making money, so I chose that over football.
Right. So with that, you kind of talked about that, like when did you start like getting in traffic? When did you start getting in the mix? At what point in your life?
Really, my earliest, I could remember, about 11, 12 years old, really just off the porch with it, you know what I mean? But I grew up in the neighborhood, you know what I mean? I grew up in the hood for real. But about 11, 12, I was really off the porch with it, you know what I mean? I wasn't all the way in it, but I was sneaking and doing stuff that I shouldn't have been doing.
You're already in the mix early. So you kind of talked about a little bit about this being in the environment growing up in it, but I want to give you an opportunity to share a little more like what made you want to get into traffic? Like what made you want to get deeper and deeper into it?
Honestly, one, like I said, fast money. Two, it was a brotherhood back then that, what was unlike no other, I had a dad, but didn't have a dad. My dad was a fisherman on the boat, you know what I mean, off, going. And when he came back, he was in tune to the streets too. So it wasn't, you know what I mean, it was more like a friendship than a father to me, you know what I mean? And all the homies out there, there was like older brothers. A lot of them was my cousins, you know what I'm saying? And so it was easy to adapt. It was family.
Right. So with that said, I mean, you spoke with it a little bit about, some family environment, your pops being, out working a lot on the boats and stuff. So, thinking back, what could have stopped you from getting into traffic? Like what could have, stopped you from getting in the mix?
Um, Honestly, man, it was more family support, more older cats that was on some positive stuff that had some positive game for me back then. Um, like I said, I was running around a bunch of older cats that was, you know, pretty much all around negative, you know what I mean? Because they didn't have no guidance, so they was only giving me what they knew, and I was sucking it up like a sponge and running off with it.
Yeah, but at that time, you sometimes when folks is putting us in traffic or in the mix, it's like we think they're putting us on. You know what I'm saying? But as you
Right.
reflect back, you realize that we're going to the fast lane. We ain't even got our permit, right? We're going straight
True.
to straight to carpool.
True.
Straight,
True.
straight from the back row straight to the
True.
carpool, straight to the
True.
express lane. So as I reflected back, especially after I lost L, around things that could have done things differently. I reflected back, and that's what I was saying. I mean, all these cats laced me up, but really they were lacing me up on things that were I don't know if I want to say suicidal behavior, but things that penitentiary chances. You know what I
Right.
mean?
It was a bunch of false narratives, and they was giving me, like you always say, I was drinking the juice. You know what I mean? But they was serving it up, man, and it was tasting real good at the time. You know what I mean? But it in the long run, it set me back, years.
Right. So speaking on that, just growing up in the streets of the South End, what core values did you learn growing up in the South End as being around the brotherhood? And you talked about the brotherhood, you talked about the family aspects and those things. So what core values do you feel like you took away from that may still you could share maybe some negative ones, but also even positive ones that you feel like benefit you now as an adult? Because
Well, I'll start with the negative first. The negative was, destroy my own, right? You know, being racist towards black people because that's what I call it. You know what I mean? We was taught how to be racist towards our own. Um, the positive that I was taking, was the brotherhood, the this could go both ways. This could be positive and negative, but the love that I thought I was getting, you know what I'm saying? I thought that they was loving me out there, and so I was running behind them, because I was looking for guidance at that time too, and then it was just it was really the brotherhood though.
I think the guidance piece kind of goes back to things that may have stopped you from getting in the mix if you had proper guidance, right?
For sure.
And then core values that I can say I took away from growing up in the South one is accountability, respect,
Oh yeah.
trust, loyalty,
Yep.
that carry me forward in life now. Like those are still core values that I hold true, and I learned a lot of that growing up in the South End.
For sure.
Definitely there was negative things, but I also wanted, as we're talking about this, I also want to highlight, like, I mean, shit, we known each other since we were like 11 years old,
Man,
so
yeah.
we're about to be E40. So
Coming up
and,
soon.
a lot of us definitely didn't make it to see us. That's definitely a milestone. So, being able to grow up with, Hoover D, Wall, and, Pooh, and Ale and Drag and everybody else,
Right.
Fax and Vaughn and everybody else from the South End, like we definitely had, the fellowship, even, cats from D Dub, Horton, you know what I'm saying? So, just really, we was all really rocking with each other back in the day.
Oh,
So, I mean,
it was way different. Like I said, the love was different. The brotherhood was different, man. I remember, going from Rainer late night all the way to Skyway, walking to house parties. You know what I mean? With 50 little kids that should have been at home tucked in, but
right.
it was we felt safe as ever, and was rocking like we was grown.
Snatching up any bikes that weren't locked down. that joint could be that
That
joint
was
could
mine.
that joint could be on the flat or whatever. We riding that joint, popping willies and everything. But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, like at the end of the day, like it was just we was just out there mobbing, and man, like you said, late nights from Genesee all the way to Skyway
for
with a
sure.
little boom box, 30, 40 deep, mobbing through the South and Rainier Valley.
Yeah.
Um, so we're gonna transition to some other stuff, around the
Okay.
police and locked up and those types of things. Have you ever been locked up?
Yep. For sure.
So did being locked up change you at all?
Yeah, yeah, it did. It I remember, being young and getting locked up and telling myself this ain't for me. This ain't even a place for a dog. You know what I mean? So I knew then, long time ago, that this is not for me.
So I'm assuming you learned from that, then you made some course corrections or
Oh no, 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 no. I learned that, you know what I mean? I learned how to move a little slicker. You know what I
okay.
mean? I learned how to, how to walk a little, a little different, but nah, I was still being a knucklehead. I was still bumping my head. Like I said, I was chasing that fast money. So it was, it took me, some years down the road before I woke up and understood that that wasn't it.
That's what's up. So, we talked a little bit how it impacted you. You spoke on that a little bit, but how did it impact the people around you, like your family? I don't know if you had kids at the time when you went to jail, or brothers and sisters, grand anybody. Like, how did it impact your friends? Like, how did it impact folks around you?
Um, like I said, at the hood that I'm from is Holly. It's I'm one of the founding members of it. So it's different because the hood itself is my family, right? So we was knee deep in it together. You know what I mean? So I don't know how it really affected. I mean, I know that they didn't want us out there, like our parents, our aunties, our grandfathers sure didn't want us out there. You know what I mean? So I know for sure that it wasn't it wasn't the lifestyle that they wanted for us. But at the same time, we was kids following kids, so we was just like I said, we was influenced by the other older kids that we seen out there that we was considering as big homies.
Did you spend like a lot of time in jail, or was it like a little bit?
No, man, I did, here and there's, and what I'm saying, I did, I think the longest time that I did was like 20, 28, 20, 20 some months, you know what I mean, at one point in time. But I learned then, like I said, I learned then it just wasn't for me. That was the longest, that I ever did, you know what I mean? And it was just like, this ain't for me.
Yeah, 20 months. That's a lot. That's almost 2 years. That's a long time, bro.
We're not going to talk about the parole part that came with it, you know what I mean? Because that was even, you know what I mean? It was longer, it was a longer sentence than that, you know what I'm saying? But, I went through boot camp and, I was, cut the time down with doing other stuff. And it was just, but, you know,
But it never really solved the problem. It never really changed your behavior. Being going through any of that stuff never really changed your mentality or your behavior. That didn't.
no, no, no. Really, like I said, it gave me some time to sit down and think. And I decided that then that man, this ain't for me. I got to be But the only thing that I was thinking was that I got to be slicker. I
Right.
got to get out and figure out how to how can I beat the system next time where I ain't gonna get back in here because 4, 5 days back out back on the concrete. I was like, man, I got to get some money back in my pocket. So it really didn't, you know what I mean? It really didn't work. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And part of why I was asking the follow up, like how did it impact folks around you, because just trying to flush out how these systems don't really solve the problem. And also like removing people from the community, it impacts like if you have kids, the kids are impacted, or grandma's taking on. And I'm sure you know stories about folks that done time. And that's kind of going to transition us into our next question is do you I know it's a yes, but I'm going to ask it, but you know folks around you that's been like that.
Of course, yes.
And then, now that you may not know how it impacted them, but maybe you could speak on how that impacted you.
I mean, well, my best friend, still to this day, S. Loke Sean Phillips, he um he was in and out of jail, man, all the time. And I mean, there was times where I'm coming out, we'd kick it one night, and then the next night he'd be gone for a month. And I'm like, damn, what happened to my partner? Like, you know what I mean? We was just flaving, you know what I'm saying? So, it was, and that was like a big brother, still like a big brother to me. So I was lost when he wasn't out there with that guidance because he always tried to steer me, in a different direction. You know what I mean? And I, find myself doing stuff that I wouldn't even, would have did it if he was there. But just watching him go through what he was going through in and out, I was just like, bro, I don't want to be like that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
S. Loke, no joke.
For sure.
So, um, I don't know if you're on this or not, but we all need to be on. So I'm putting this, embedding this in all of our questions, all of our podcasts that we're doing with Brothers United Leadership Development.
Okay.
And if you're not on, I'm definitely going to push you to get on. It's really real trendy thing online, around self care, self love, and all that. So like all the stuff that's been going on, like what have you done, or what are you doing to like take care of yourself? Like what are you exercising? Are you meditating? Are you like what are you doing?
Um, Honestly, man, I'm trying to exercise. Me and my wife, we done went and bought bikes, and you know what I mean. We tried to just what last month or something. You know what I mean. I did a 30-day fast of red meat. And just talking, communicating. You know what I mean. Talking about the stuff that's going on. Not let it sit in my spirit. Not let the rest of my soul. Just me and my wife having real conversations about stuff. Sometimes it get heated. Sometimes it's it is what it is, but it's it's good for me and her. But yeah, just like we don't want to buy bikes, you know what I mean? We ain't got dedicated to it yet, you know what I mean? But we keep saying we is, like you said, we knocking on 40 now, so it's like, you know what I mean? That's the goal.
So I'm gonna be checking in on you and asking you how that's going. And I know even like I said, having conversations, get stuff off your chest. I know you and I had a critical conversation a couple weeks ago,
For sure.
just about some miscommunication, misunderstanding. That just shows the growth and where we're at with our relationship. To keep the brotherhood moving. So I definitely see you modeling and walking, in those walking in doing that, and making sure that you're not holding stuff in. So like my thing is just encouraging folks to continue we got to take care of ourselves, like you said, knocking on 40. Health disparities impact black men in our community higher than anybody else, and part of that is because we're carrying all that stress and anxiety and this amount of adrenaline that we even how we grew up, like the amount of adrenaline that running from the police
Yeah,
and just the amount of stuff that we're dealing with within our community. So we got to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. I'm just being intentional on asking folks that, and I know some people are engaging in it or not, and it's an opportunity to have a honest conversation with, and so community can view in and see
for sure.
what cats that came through the mix, through the blenders, and this is what they're doing or not doing. You know what I mean? So how do you think we can help this generation and the next generation stay out the mix or out of traffic?
Um, Me and my wife just had this conversation the other night, and the other morning, shall I say. And one of the things that I was telling her is that and I just mentioned it earlier in this in this interview, is that kids are influenced by kids. You know what I mean? And it's is for me somebody that still got one foot in, one foot out. You know what I mean? Not one foot in the streets like I'm out here gang banging or doing it like that, but one foot in where what I mean, I'm aware of what's going on. Um, it's talking, man. You know what I mean? We got to be able to communicate with them, consistent. Being consistent in doing what we say we're gonna do. Um, what they need is uh, 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 you know, mental health therapy. A lot of them choose music for their therapy. You know what I mean? Finding some music outlet for them. You know what I mean? The old thing, like I said earlier, sports. You know what I mean? A lot of them choose sports for their outlet. You know what I mean? And then trying to encourage them that a 9 to 5, you know, ain't a negative thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just you know, trying to encourage the positive instead of the negative like I used to do. I used to just get out there when they asked me for something. It was like, hey, little homie, I got a sack for you and I got a pistol. And, this is all I got to offer you. I
That's,
don't even know what else to give you.
that's
You know
what
what I'm
it is,
saying?
and in that part, you thought you were putting them on,
I thought I was
but
putting
that's
them
what it
on for
said. So
sure.
you got you were drinking you were getting served the juice, and then you started serving the
Of
juice.
course. Yeah.
So okay, so then a little bit about that too, and speaking about like this the job, even minimum wage, right?
Hmm.
Nobody wants to live off minimum wage. You can't really live off minimum wage in this area in this day and age.
For sure.
But I was just talking to somebody who will remain nameless about still being in the mix and doing things, um, and just talked about the amount of time that they spent in jail, and if they get popped for what they're doing now, if they go to jail, yeah, the fast money is cool, but when you add up all the time and hours that you're in jail, it ends up being less than minimum wage.
For sure.
It ends up
For
being less
sure.
when you really look at the risk that you're taking. So I mean, it's just having real deal, real conversations around that.
I
And
mean, even that, like, I even say this. I hustled for all them years, right? I hustled from all them years. I even give you the age. You know what I mean? I hustled from basically 11 to 30. You know what I mean? 11 to 30 to 33 ish, right? Um, didn't have, when I was decided that this wasn't for me. You know what I mean? I didn't have, no policy set up where I walked away with a retirement plan or what I mean, some type of pension or something like that. When I decided, to get into the work field, you know what I mean. Even then, all them years, I didn't have a license.
right,
No life insurance. No, I didn't have nothing. Okay, so when I decided to turn my life around, I literally started from scratch at basically 33 years old, and I wasted 33 years thinking that I was fast tracking my life, getting fast money when I
right,
didn't. I was playing from behind the whole time.
right. And that's part of the mentality. That's part of the game. They get us focused on the carrot and not necessarily who's holding the carrot and what supports and stuff that you need. But I know you're a homeowner now, two-time homeowner,
For
so
sure, for sure.
congratulations on that. You
Appreciate
know what
that,
I'm
man.
saying? So
Appreciate that.
you're making up you're making up a lot of speed, because even some folks that have walked the narrow path and did everything quote unquote air quotes right aren't even in that position. So I think that's huge for you and your wife to be, two-time homeowners and working, and you've been working, got your driver's license now, and
Yeah, yeah.
making things. I'm assuming you got life insurance now.
I do. I
You got
do.
you got a retirement fund. You got
Man, I got all that. Man, all
401.
that,
Yeah,
man.
so
Man,
that's what I'm
all
saying. So
that,
I mean, those are the things that
man.
we want to uplift. To say these are the new core values of the South End, right? These are the new
For
core
sure.
values of what we want to uplift. You talked a little bit about things that can help the next generation. You got into some supports, but I want to give you an opportunity if you think there's like other supports that not just the young folks, but their families may need to support the young folks from not getting in the mix in traffic.
I mean, truthfully, you know, it starts at home. You know what I mean? But they have to have, they have to have the right information. Because even for me, the older I got, I didn't have the right information, right? Like we even go to the homeowner, being a homeowner. I remember you gave me the game of being a homeowner, and I thought it was fake. You know what I mean? Like, because it sounded, you know
Too
what I
good to
mean?
be
It was
true.
too good to be true. You know what I mean? That I didn't even want to believe it because I'm like, bro, come on, man, that ain't it can't be right. You know what I'm saying? And but so many false narratives that I been had before with other stuff, I was, blinded to even want to try, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Until, me and my wife had a real conversation about it, and really decided to, to go for it, and was like, oh, we could do this, you know what I mean? But a lot of it is just, unaware. Don't have the resources, don't know the resources. You know what I mean? So making the resources, if there was a way that we could make the resources more known for us to get out there and really connect with our community and let them know that there's other avenues other than this. I mean, mom, dad, teenagers, youngster, whoever, that's
Yeah, that's dope. And I mean, that's basically kind of what I was doing, right? Is, outreach, talking to folks, whatever, relationships. And I think that's, something I'll encourage you to do too. And, I think, and this platform is going to be an opportunity for people to get information, Build 206 Media, when we start doing, rolling out more shows and stuff and sharing information, is going to be an opportunity. But, just now the knowledge that you and your wife have, I know you're sharing it with family
of
and that's
course.
and that's how generational wealth starts, right?
Yep.
Somebody got to make the move, and then now everybody's not playing checkers no more. We're playing chess. So,
Yep.
so that's really what it is. Is how to, a lot of times, well, some people, I know you're not on that, but some people get information they want to hoard it. Like,
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
got
Oh
the
yeah.
I got the
We know.
keys to the power. So it's, just make sure, it's like Tupac said, I may not be the one that changes the world, but I'm going to spark the mind that does, right? So that's really the mentality, and then, from that, nip, and you have seen other people come out that, have just taken it to the next level. So that's really kind of how I try to roll what I roll. And then even losing L, it was kind of like so much wasted talent, right? You know what I mean? So it's like, it was already in you. That's like, you tell me,
Right.
oh, like Dre, you're the one who laced me on this or that. Nah, that shit was in you already. It's
For
just,
sure.
I
For
just
sure.
gave you the keys to unlock it. And if I can do it, if you see me, if we grew up together and we see me do it, it's like, shit, if I can do it, anybody can do
Right.
it.
Right. Right. No, for real.
so, so what goals do you have now?
I mean, one of my main goals is let's just when I say main goal, I mean um community wise. You know what I mean? One of my main goals is getting out here, trying to figure out how to get, one, like I said before, one, how to get mental health. You know what I mean? How to get some mental health. You know what I mean? How to get some therapy for these youngsters. How to get trades back in the schools. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's a big that's some that we don't speak of, right? Everybody's not made to go to college. You know what I mean? Some people just ain't ready to go to college. Some people just ain't prepared. Some people ain't mentally prepared. You know what I mean? Can't do it, right? But teaching them a trade, getting them in a union, right out of high school is easy. You know what I'm saying? Easy. It takes a conversation. It takes the somebody that knows somebody to say, hey man, this is what you can do. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of my immediate things, man. It's just trying to trying to encourage those things for us build. You know what I mean? For us as build to figure out a way that we could you know, intertwine those in the communities.
That's what's up. And I guess this is the question. It's a good question too. It's like, what support do you need in reaching that goal?
Um, Build. You know what I'm saying? Really, you know what I'm saying? Is you say it all the time, man. We got everything we need, right? All it takes is, it just takes for us, a strong black man to come together and sit down and put together a master plan, which I know we can do. It's just, all of us getting on the same time wave and coming up with it and putting it in a universe, and it'll happen.
Yeah, it's crazy because I've been like jotting down and talking to people just about ideals for like shows and podcasts, and one of them was blacks in trades to be able to have people that are in trades. I was in the trades before. My little brother's in the trades. While I was in the trades, I had a couple crew chiefs that were black, so I had to reach out to people to tap in to do interviews
Hmm.
with. So I'm definitely down to support you in that goal and get that out there because I know, like you said, when we done young men's groups right
Yeah.
all the time, and a lot of times what they're saying is they want to be some kind of entertainment, like you
Yep.
talked about, athlete, rapper, yada yada yada. College is another option, and
Yep.
then not so much people say this, but it's the streets, right?
Yep.
Those are kind of the options. There's not a lot of people saying I want to be a longshoreman or a carpenter or electrician or so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, that's another viable option. You don't got to be that great at school, which school is school's working the way it's designed to work. That's
Right.
that's what
Right.
people fail to realize. Like these institutions are working the way they're meant to work, and
For
and
sure.
uh and it's not for everybody. It
No, it's
wasn't for
not.
me. It wasn't for me. I barely graduated high school, didn't go to college. So I mean, at the end of the day, it wasn't for me. But being able to have some skills and people to encourage people to go in the right direction is dope.
For sure. And so many of them, so many of them graduate and just get lost. You know what I mean? They get lost because they don't really know what their next step is. You know what I mean? Like I said, college ain't really, college ain't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So right after, high school is looking for, looking for something, you know what I mean? And 9 times out of 10, is idle time is a killer. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And you, they gonna find something.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, it ain't normally the most positive thing because nobody want to go flip a burger. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want to work in Walmart. No disrespect to nobody that's doing that type of stuff, but it just for whatever reason it ain't cool. You
Right.
know what I mean? So it's like, oh man, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go bust no tables. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? But then it's crazy because they'll turn 35, 36 years old, and you'll see them, flipping a burger at Walmart or busting the table. Like, man, I got to get it by any means necessary. So we
Right.
just got to make, making money, you know what I mean, by any means necessary. Cool.
Yeah, and change the narrative, right? That's
Right.
as a core value or priority in our community. Even being smart, I remember we was in school. You're acting wide. You're acting this. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's
Right.
like, nah, we're not. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's just really making reevaluating what's cool, what's not, and then getting people behind that and pushing that agenda. So before we wrap up, I always I'm kind of like controlling the conversation because I'm hosting these shows. So any other shows I'm hosting, I always give people an opportunity to ask me questions just to have a little balance in the conversation. So if there's any questions, as like I said, I grew up in the South End. We ripped and ran and did things that we ain't gonna mention on this
Right.
show.
Right. Right.
but,
Right. Right. Um,
but I don't know if you have any questions for me, man.
I mean, what has been, brothers to build, man. You know what I'm saying? It's really, we done been, like you said, we done been friends for so long, man. It ain't really too much that, I don't already know, you know what I'm saying? You've been in this limelight, this life, this community work. One of the things that I wanted to give you a shout out to, you know what I'm saying? Um, you know, it is one of the reasons why I was inspired to even do this work, what I mean, was because of brothers like you, brothers like Bill. Because when I first started, what I mean, it all started as kind of like a fun thing with the basketball,
Right,
the basketball game, and then I seen how serious you was with it, and I actually seen you actually doing stuff in the community, and actually I actually see Bill doing stuff, and I'm like, man, what Dre on, man? What that's about? He posting stuff again. Like, man, he doing, but he doing work in the community, so you couldn't knock it. You know what I'm saying? And then once I actually sat down with you brothers, you know what I mean? I actually seen that you guys was really, something different, and then I don't, spoke to you guys about this before, but I really sat down with myself and I said, man, damn, I've been giving, negative to my community for so long. You know what I mean? These brothers is doing positive. I need to be on what they on. You know what I'm saying? And so that was one of the things that inspired me, is seeing, brothers of that I grew up with just doing something positive. So I want to give you, you know what I mean, your kudos right now. You know what I'm saying? That, that was one of the reasons that got me walking in this path. And I thank you for that because it was a long time coming and it's what I needed
man. Respect, bro.
for sure.
So yeah, that's it's. And speaking on that, like I said, it was already in you. It's in all of us. Like we all have gifts. It's just somebody pushing us in the right direction. And we the one model that a lot of people like, even when I'm talking to funders or talking to people and explaining how we move with build, even folks within our network, they don't really understand the structure. They think like I'm the boss, you know what I mean?
Right,
And that's or they think like I'm the executive director or whatever. And I'm saying no, we got cats that are hood, we got cats that are into religion, we got cats
right,
that are, working on their PhDs, we got cats, and everybody got the same amount of decision making
right,
power. If they got an
right.
ideal, let's run with it. What support do you need to make it happen? Let's go. You know
Oh
what I
man, for
mean?
real, man. Listen, man. What it is, man, is just Dre be on his stuff, man. You know what I mean? Dre really be on his stuff, and and it ain't about being a boss. It ain't about being a manager. You know what I mean? It takes that, man, because it takes somebody to stay on course and stay in their lane, because there's so many lanes that when you got a group of people, we sway off. You know what I'm saying? We sway off, and Dre's that constant. You know what I mean? That constant voice that's like, hey man, get back in this lane. You know what I mean? Get back in this lane. Get back focused on what you're supposed to do. And we need that, man. But whether we, whether we know it or not at that time, we need it. You know what I mean? So I appreciate it.
That's what's up. And I'm looking for, I know we got a meeting coming up. So just being in space with cats, we've been away from each other for, I mean, we ain't really been around each other like that since COVID kicked off.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to that. So if you ain't got nothing else, I think we can wrap this. I appreciate you making time to come on and share some stories from the South End. And, we got a lot of stuff coming up, and I'm looking forward to building with you so we can keep giving back to the community and growing and making it happen, man.
Oh yeah, man, for sure. So I got one more thing to say though, man, before I go. I can't tell y'all all my stories in the South End because it's too much. But one of the other things that I do want to touch on is I'm big in sports too. You know what I mean? And so you know, we got something in the works. You know what I mean? We done talked, plenty of times about, that sports is my thing. So to get the parents involved, get kids involved. Um, just be supportive, man. We just want you guys to be supportive when you see Bill roll something out, man. It's for the community. Come out, support us. We're gonna support you.
That's what's up. All right, y'all. This is Dre with Bill 206 Media in the studio with my homie Clown from the South End. Also a brother of Bill, Brothers Uniting Leadership Development. This is Bill 206 Media. This is Stories from the South End. We'll see you soon. All right, peace.